Good evening. All right, I'm going to call this governing board meeting to order. It is Wednesday, April 8th at 6:31. Lisa, can you do roll call, please?
Patty Coutray,
Present.
Caroline Lopez, Lisa Garcia, Ben Owens,
Present.
Shante Rothschild,
Present.
Thank you. Member Rothschild, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, adoption of the agenda. Do I have any amendments or motions?
Motion to approve is written.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Patty Coutray.
Aye. All right, Dr. Lotman, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Coutray. Before we begin this evening's report, I would like to take a moment to honor the life and service of Denise Palmer. Denise was a devoted third grade teacher at Pima Butte Elementary School who passed away recently. Since 2005, Ms. Palmer has been a pillar of the Pima Butte school community. For more than 2 decades, she poured her heart into the classroom, touching the lives of countless students and staff with kindness and patience that were felt the moment you stepped through her door. Denise exemplified what it means to serve children and families, and her legacy will be felt for years to come through the students she taught, the colleagues she befriended, and the families who trusted her with their children each day. And, you know, Pima Butte is known for this sense of family, the familial relationships that they have with each other, the staff, but also this notion of family with their parents and their students and the grandparents. And it even, you know, and really Denise just exemplified that. She was such just the shining example of the closeness and the familiarity. And she even extended it to her own family. You know, Denise's mom was has been a regular fixture at the school. And, you know, that was how Denise approached her work and her relationship with Pima Butte, her students, and her colleagues. I mean, her colleagues are like sisters and family members to her. And, you know, Denise would bring her mom to the Great Pie Pickup. And I could just hear Denise saying, "Come on, Mom, get in the car. You're going." You know, because that's how family works. It works when you make it work. And, you know, she's in a better place now. But we're struggling mightily without her. And we're going to miss her a lot. And, you know, our hearts are breaking for her family, her mom, her siblings, and the Pima Butte family. And we extend our deepest sympathies to all of them. And I invite you now to join me in a moment of silence in remembrance of Denise Palmer. Thank you. You know, President Coutray, it's moments like this that remind us how personal our jobs are. And we really notice that our staff gives 100%, and that's across our district. And it's that same care and commitment that, and our thoughts about Denise and the example she set that guide our classrooms and our campuses every day. And so, with that in mind, I have the rest of my report. And I want to share a few updates that make us proud in Maricopa Unified. Air Force Junior ROTC cadets from Maricopa High School and Desert Sunrise stepped into the world of aviation during a visit to Chandler Municipal Airport. 50 cadets toured the Air Traffic Control Tower and explored a Civil Air Patrol Cessna 172, getting an up-close look at how aviation operations work. Experiences like this spark curiosity and bring classroom learning to life and help students see the many pathways available to them in aviation and beyond. Congratulations to Mason McKillop of Desert Sunrise High School, named Pinal County Mathlete of the Year at the Pinal County Math Competition. Students from Desert Sunrise and Maricopa High Schools delivered an impressive showing across the competition. Desert Sunrise placed among the top 5 schools, with 4 students advancing to the semifinals. Maricopa High School brought 76 students, with 16 advancing to the individual round, along with second and third place finishes in level 2 team competition. Together, these efforts added up to a standout performance across both schools. Be sure to cast your vote for Michaela Armstrong for the Arizona Republic Athlete of the Week. She is a standout track and field jumper at Maricopa High School who continues to reach new heights this season with strong performances in competition. Michaela is nominated in 2 categories: Girls High School Athlete of the Week and Girls Track and Field Athlete of the Week. The program highlights top student athletes from across Arizona based on their performance and impact. Grab your phones and scan the QR codes to vote for Michaela. Voting is open now and closes tomorrow at 6 p.m. Congratulations to Mr. Ambala of Desert Sunrise High School for being named the April 2026 Pinal County Spotlight Teacher by the Pinal County School Office. Mr. Ambala is recognized for using technology, including AI, to make learning more engaging and personalized for students. Beyond the classroom, he shares that experience or that expertise with colleagues, recently presenting at the Arizona Council of Educators Conference, and later this month serving as a guest speaker at the Pinal County Teacher Support Network. Congratulations to Maricopa Elementary School on earning Leader in Me Lighthouse Re-certification, marking 8 years as a Lighthouse school. Leader in Me is a framework based on the 7 habits of highly effective people that empowers scholars to develop leadership, responsibility, goal setting as part of their everyday learning. And that's it for my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lotman. Governing Board member reports. Member Rothschild.
Good evening, everyone. This week I've had the opportunity to attend the Arizona Ed Tech and Workplace Summit. It's a week-long summit that focuses on technology and the work that areas do. The room was full of leaders from education, business, technology, policy, and everything. Everyone came together to talk about our future, education, teachers, and the world around us. What really stood out to me is that we are an amazing district. Listening to all of the leaders, the specialists and things talk about the work that they're doing and the focus on not only providing insight and direction for our youth, but also making sure that they're able to flourish in their world once they leave these walls. And so wanted to reiterate the amazing work that we're doing here and that we are among some great institutions. So just wanted to share that and thank you all for your work.
Thank you.
That's it.
Member Owens.
Nothing this evening. Thank you.
I, too, don't have anything to report. It's just been a busy couple of weeks. with an event that we had. And again, I want to thank Dr. Scott for dancing and Dancing for Our Stars. She did an amazing job. Who knew she could move like that? The YouTube videos are up, people. You can watch it now. So the entire night was amazing. Everybody who supported the Boys and Girls Club, they raised about $130,000. So it was a wonderful night, and our show just keeps getting better and better. But again, thank you, Dr. Scott, for representing us and doing such an amazing job. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, can you do can you do the fancy routine? Come on, get out there and do the fancy routine. You guys got to watch it, seriously. Yeah, I'll get that at the next slide. Okay. For those that are watching, and I'm sure all of you have all filed your taxes yet, but if you have not, next week is the deadline, and so we do hope you take advantage of the STO credit for MUSD. It's 200 individual, 400 for filing jointly. And you can also make a donation to one of our partners, the Boys and Girls Club of the Sun Corridor, as they are qualifying a charitable organization, and you can do both. And so that is $495 for individuals and $987 for filing jointly. So if you haven't done it, you're just directing the state to put those tax dollars back into these organizations that support the youth in our community. So thank you. All right, we're going to move on to our information item. We have our classroom spotlight, Santa Cruz Elementary. Ms. Reinhardt.
Good evening, President Coutray, Dr. Lopman, governing board members. I'm Stephanie Reinhardt, the proud principal of Santa Cruz Elementary School. I'm here to present our classroom spotlight, highlighting literacy foundations in Miss Brett Abramson's kindergarten classroom at Santa Cruz. Let's see. Okay. This aligns to the MUSD strategic plan, Goal 1. Every student graduates prepared to create, innovate, lead, and succeed with a focus on the foundations of reading in kindergarten and 100% of students on grade level. This also aligns to the MUSD Portrait of a Graduate. By incorporating all the attributes, we are preparing our students for their success on the road to graduation. Our need to focus on foundational reading skills has been an ongoing conversation within our primary grade levels for several years. We have had professional development and added curriculum such as Spalding. We were planning using the district curriculum, meeting in professional learning teams, and collaborating and looking at data. In short, doing all the right things. But we still weren't seeing the results that we were working so hard to achieve. We decided to focus on kindergarten. We know that kindergarten is critical for setting students up for success. It's our best first chance to get them ready. Our teachers know this, and they were seeking answers for why some kids just weren't getting it. As a professional learning team, we looked deeper into the data that we were collecting from Fastbridge and Spalding. The admin team did some Spalding coaching and some informal walkthroughs. From this collection of information, we decided to target specific skills. We trained the kindergarten paras on how to work on these skills in small groups, as well as how to assess their students. The students who seemed to be stuck were starting to show progress. The extra support and a breakdown of specific skills proved to be the missing piece for these students. This action research helped us realize that we needed to extend this approach into this school year. This year, our PLT has been very focused. We started with extending our team to include not only the kinder teachers, but adding our kinder resource teacher, academic coach, reading interventionist, and myself. Our PLT meetings are guided by our academic coach. During these collaboration meetings, everything revolves around the essential Arizona state standards for kindergarten, which are largely made up of foundational reading skills. We meet weekly to determine what students will be learning, how we will assess that learning, how we will intervene if students need more support, and how we will enrich those that learned what we expected. We analyze specific agreed-upon data, look for trends across the grade level, group students, and learn from each other on what has worked in each classroom or with specific students. Teachers bring lesson ideas and ready-to-use resources, and we always agree on what we are preparing for the next meeting before we end the current meeting. As a team, we really examined our universal screener, which is FastBridge. We began to talk more about the foundational skills in the sequence that it assesses: phonemic awareness, phonics, nonsense words, and sight words. Our reading interventionist broke down the data into each specific skill so we could see where each child was related to that skill on the screener. From that, we were able to form short-term targeted goals, leading us to long-term success. Each skill is meticulously discussed and planned to include whole group and small group instruction. Here is the data from our fall and winter FastBridge screener. In the blue, you will see the district proficiency averages. The fall screening shows 40% proficiency, growing to 52% by the winter screening. Historically, Santa Cruz scores just below the district average. In turquoise, you can see our school proficiency average of 30% in the fall, which was quite a bit below district average. And then our winter proficiency was at 55, above the district average. Our kinder team as a whole is showing growth. Finally, in purple, you will see Ms. Abramson's class proficiency. Her class was lower than the school average with a fall score of 25%. Her class came into kindergarten with very few skills already established. By mid-year, she has exceeded and surpassed expectations and now has 74% of her students proficient. Let me now introduce Ms. Abramson to tell us more about her classroom.
Good evening, members of the board and Dr. Lotman. As you can see, we have seen significant growth in my classroom this year. My approach centers on a seamless transition from whole group instruction to targeted Tier 2 interventions. In my classroom, every lesson begins with Tier 1 whole group instruction. This is where new skills are introduced to all students, establishing a shared foundation. However, we know that all students process information at different speeds and come to us with varying levels of prior knowledge. After the core concept is introduced, I use Spalding and FastBridge subtests to identify where the gap exists for specific learners. This is where Tier 2 interventions begin. Tonight, I'm excited to share a brief video showing off my class working in their intervention groups. You will see students working on skills such as phonograms, which are their letter sounds, phoneme segmenting, so that's where they orally sound out words, and nonsense words, which is decoding words without guessing or memorization. I try to keep the academic stress low by calling our activities games so their brains stay open to new information. Let's take a look at how these interventions translate to the classroom. In kindergarten, we are building the foundational skills for reading. What we do with Tier 1 instruction, when it hasn't been enough and the kids kind of need more direct instruction, we break out into Tier 2 groups, which are interventions focusing on specific skills. The skills are the basic reading foundational skills, so they might be letter sounds, phoneme seg, so sounding out words, nonsense fluency, and sight words.
I like to sound it out and read The Cat in the Hat.
I group my students based on data from our testing FastBridge. I also do weekly reading assessments, and our Spalding test scores are kind of all put in to this big pot where I can sort them out so I can target their instruction based on what their specific skills are.
I like phonograms.
I have 4 to 5 groups depending on class size, and they rotate throughout the week. So I'll spend 20 to 30 minutes with a specific group. It might look a little different each week, where if I have a higher group, we kind of dig a little deeper, and another group that might need additional support, we're kind of going back to the basic foundational skills and just building up from there.
I like to sound out words and read. I like to read Skippy John Jones. It's about like a dog doing funny things.
And so I'm able to take those kids and place them in groups where they're with students that have the same needs, and then we can kind of build from there. So the intervention groups are great for students that need that extra push, that are already ahead, and we can kind of keep going with that. And then for the students that need the extra support to help build those skills to get up to being a fluent reader.
I like doing nonsense words.
What you just saw is more than just a lesson. It is the foundation of every academic success these students will have for the next 12 years. When we intervene early and with precision in kindergarten, we aren't just teaching kids to read, we're giving them the tools to access every other subject they will encounter. I want to thank the board for supporting the resources and professional development that make this level of targeted instruction possible. We are incredibly proud of the progress these students have made.
So you have just seen and heard the wonderful things happening in Ms. Abramson's classroom. Our parents are noticing as well. These shout-outs are from our recent school-wide survey. Obviously, our parents think she's amazing, and so do we. As we move forward, we are continuing to keep the focus on foundational reading skills, but extending our processes into first and second grades. We plan to share our learning vertically with each grade level so the teachers can learn from one another. We have learned a tremendous amount about how to teach rigorously, evaluate student learning, and use assessments to deepen student understanding. This process has been and will be repeated throughout the grade levels at Santa Cruz. In the upper grades, students shift from learning to read to reading to learn. The process of teaching rigorously, evaluating student learning, and using assessment to deepen student understanding is the same. The instrument to measure learning shifts from using FastBridge to Navi, from basic reading skills to more complex comprehension skills. We are planning professional development on the instructional cycle to include strengthening whole group instruction and targeting skills in small group instruction. We want teachers to be able to diagnose the specific skills that students need so that our interventions are effective and students are learning. We will continue to refine our PLT meetings so we become better at collecting and using data to impact our instruction. We are sure we will continue to see great growth in how teachers are collaborating, sharing data, and learning from each other's experience. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share our work. We're happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
So you've already answered like two of the questions I had, so
Yes.
Nice job, thank you for that. So one of the things that I'm curious about is what kind of feedback have you had from the students? I'm assuming that you taught last year before this was kind of really implemented and kind of cemented.
Yes.
So I'm just kind of curious. Whoops.
So this is my 14th year teaching kindergarten.
All right.
And I started implementing tier 2 interventions probably for the last 6 years.
Okay.
And their feedback actually drives what kind of activities that I have. They respond more to movement. And so in the video you saw where they're playing a game and they have to sound out the word and then they have to go and jump it out. And so when I see them excited to do, like when they have to go to that station, they're like, yay, we get to go to that one. And so I keep those things in mind when I plan them, that I need to get them competing against each other, where it's a healthy competition, and moving. And so those are the two big things. But the engagement is always there. They're always wanting to please the teacher, but they like learning with each other as well. And I feel like they get a little more one-on-one attention from me as well, which the kids always want. And so they really look forward to doing our intervention groups.
Great. That was one thing that I did notice too, is the classroom and the activities. And I haven't spent a lot of time in a kindergarten classroom, right? But it looks so much different than a long time ago when I was in school too. So I love the way that everything is kind of shifting to needing to keep the kids engaged.
It's all about engagement. We know that's where they do their learning. They were so excited to do the video, and then we sat them down, and it was complete stage fright. They couldn't talk. It was so funny. You know, they were so excited about all the things they were going to say about their class, and they were adorable. They did a good job.
What's been the biggest challenge or opportunity for you to hurdle over or jump over to really kind of push this out and grow this program?
The data. So we have these data tools, but really having the time, the manpower, the knowing what we're looking for and what questions we have that we're trying to get answered from the data, to like dig in and figure out exactly what it is that kids are missing. And most of the time, once we can figure out what that one little thing is and we can teach to that, then they're off and going, and we can keep that forward momentum. But finding that one little thing, diagnosing the kid to that nth degree, that's the biggest challenge.
Gotcha. And that's been...
That's why we do the work, and we're having some success with it. We'll continue to look at it. We're constantly talking about, you know, what's a different way to come around it, looking at it in 100 different ways to see, you know, if there's an angle that we've missed. It's a lot of time that we spend on it, but we're seeing rewards from it, and there's nothing better than fixing something that's not clicking with a kid.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you.
Great presentation, first of all. A couple of things that stood out to me was the community participation. I initially heard you say educating the parents, and then it appeared that the students were supporting each other. You mentioned, okay, this group of students is experiencing this, so it wasn't just you facilitating that discussion, but it's like everyone was supporting each other with those goals. And then, of course, sharing the information across the board with other teachers. So just that reminder that it takes a village, right? It's a community. It's not, many times we hear why you as a teacher, why isn't my child doing this? It's the teacher's fault. But here it sounds as though it's a community agreement to help the students get to the next level. So thank you for that.
Great job. Wonderful growth. Really appreciate you sharing all of that with us. And we look forward to seeing this grow to all the other grade levels and seeing that tremendous growth throughout the school. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a work study, the Child Nutrition Budget Review. Mr. Harmon?
All right, good evening, President Coutre, members of the Governing Board, and Dr. Loatman. Tonight we'll preview the child nutrition budget projections for fiscal year 27. Presentation aligns with our strategic plan. Our child nutrition program is tied to our goals for salaries in the top 5% of employee groups, gold standard child nutrition, and optimizing resource allocations. The driver of our program and our budget is student meals. We serve nearly 1 million lunches and nearly 500,000 breakfasts annually. 3 out of 4 lunches and 2 out of 3 breakfasts are provided to students at a free or reduced price, demonstrating our deep commitment to food security. Due to ever-increasing labor and supply costs, we're on track to operate at a cost-to-revenue ratio of 104.4%. This means for every dollar of revenue the program generates from sales and reimbursements, it incurs about $1.04 in costs. This operational deficit is not sustainable long-term. This slide shows the same data but broken down for breakfast and lunch. This means for every dollar of revenue the program generates from sales and reimbursements, breakfast incurs about $1.69 and lunch incurs about 90 cents in cost. The reason for the large loss ratio for breakfast is we currently offer free breakfast to everyone and only collect revenue related to free and reduced meal reimbursements. This slide shows a breakdown of costs compared to the total revenues. We're projecting a net operational deficit of about $239,895. Rising food and labor costs are the primary drivers of the deficit, outpacing the revenue generated under the current pricing structure. For the 26-27 school year, we're proposing a modest price increase for paid meals only, increasing the price for lunch by 50 cents to $4.25, and implementing a $2 price for breakfast. Combining breakfast and lunch, we serve over 1 million meals a year to students receiving free or reduced price benefits. This proposal will protect our most vulnerable students by not increasing prices of free or reduced priced meals. The proposed adjustment flips the program from a 4.4% operational loss to a 3.3% operational surplus, creating a self-sustaining financial model. This change is projected to increase total annual revenue by over $430,000, covering the current deficit and providing a stable financial foundation for the program's future. It is a best practice for a child nutrition program to be self-supporting, meaning it generates enough revenue to cover expenses without pulling from the district's general fund. We currently utilize multiple best practices. We implement aggressive cost controls through food management, like using meal cycles and bulk purchases when possible, maximizing the USDA food commodities and the DoD Fresh Fruits and Vegetables program. We use cooperative purchasing groups like Aspen Mojave, and we also monitor our labor efficiency by meals per labor hour. As we design our new schools, we're also investing in infrastructure that is more efficient and time-saving. The recommendation increased lunch to $4.25 and breakfast to $2 is a targeted data-backed adjustment to ensure the long-term financial health and continued quality of our vital school meal program without impacting students in need. Tonight's work study is meant for information about the child nutrition program and projected budget. We'll bring recommended action to a future board meeting. I wanted to share more context with the revenue we receive from federal and state government compared to the amount we charge our full pay or non-eligible students. These reflect rates projected for next year. The federal reimbursements for free meals is $4.80 per lunch and $3.04 per breakfast. Reduced meals is $440 per lunch and $2.74 per breakfast. The state currently reimburses the difference between reduced and free meals. We also receive 48 cents per lunch and 41 cents per breakfast for the full pay or the non-eligible students through the federal reimbursements. The increases we are proposing bring the total revenue for our full paid students closer to the federal and state reimbursement levels, as shown in the bottom table with the combined reimbursements and meal charges. I also wanted to thank Jason Woods, our Director of Child Nutrition, and his amazing team for the outstanding job that they do in serving our students every day. We're very fortunate to have someone of Jason's caliber in our district. He's one of the best in the state. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Couple. So when was the last time that we increased these prices?
That's a great question. Jason, do you know off the top of your head?
We raised lunch prices about 25 cents the year that I came here, 22, 23. Other than that, there hasn't been any price increases since pre-COVID.
Thank you.
And of the studies, the comparisons that we did from other districts or what have you, was there any fallout or what were the major concerns when those prices were increased?
We have looked at other districts. The prices that we're implementing are certainly within reasonable ranges within the districts in our area. The proposed changes really match our costs. You know, the costs of our program are dictating these changes, not necessarily any other standard. If If we give raises, that increases the prices to our program, where other districts may not be giving raises. So some of those factors are very different depending on districts.
That's all of my questions for now, at least. Thank you.
Mr. Harmon, so I've got a couple here. In the one slide where you broke down, it was the line graph. One more. Yep, there you go. Indirect costs. Can you, I can kind of get my head around food costs, labor costs. What would make up indirect costs?
Yeah, so the indirect cost rate is determined by the state. We have an indirect cost rate for all of our grants. This is considered a grant program, and it's meant to cover the costs of administration, all the costs that we incur at the administrative level to manage this program. So we're allowed to pull a certain indirect cost rate. It goes into our indirect cost fund and can be redirected into other areas.
Gotcha. Okay. And then the other question I've got is, what are the current lunch and breakfast prices? Because you've got in here what they're going to go up to, but I'm curious, I don't recall seeing what they...
Right here.
Oh,
So
there we
they're
go.
currently
Okay.
$3.75 for lunch, and we
Okay.
currently don't charge for breakfast.
All right, cool. That's what I need. Thank you.
Mr. Harmon, I'm a person who likes options. So, while I understand and I totally appreciate us always operating self-sufficient with our child nutrition program, I also think going from a paid breakfast from $0 to $2 can be a bit much and a bit straining on some of these families. It's 200% increase. And I really believe that, you know, our district made that commitment to try to keep those breakfasts free for so long because we understand the importance of kids having breakfast, because if they have empty stomachs, they're not going to learn. But I'm wondering if, before we vote on this, if I could get some numbers, like what if we tiered this and only increased the breakfast to $1 for the next year and then the following year? Tiered it out a little bit just to see how that would bring us close to the costs that we would recoup. And then it would get us on track to where we would be able to, but it would at least be not such a huge, a huge increase to some families. I know we have a lot of families that do qualify for free and reduced, and I appreciate that. But I also know that there's families out there that wouldn't qualify, but having that extra money for those lunches and breakfasts could be somewhat burdensome, somewhat. So and I love the fact that this isn't going to change any of that free and reduced, but if I could get some figures on what it would cost the district for 1 year at only increasing that $1 and seeing how that plays out.
Yeah, we can do that. Even at the $2, we're still losing money at breakfast, just not as significantly.
Right, but we're making it up because we're still doing the lunch increase.
No,
So-
we'll still be running at a 120% ratio with the proposed
Okay.
increase. It'll go from about 160% to 120%, but we're happy to.
I just like to see options.
We love crunching
Okay.
numbers.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, and maybe I don't understand all of it, but if someone, I just know that there's certain school districts where there's always something free, and I don't know how that works. But if a child comes and they've forgotten their lunch money or something like that, do we have a program similar to
Yeah,
that?
we have a free lunch option. Jason, do we have a free breakfast option as well? Okay, we do. Oh, everybody's free for breakfast. But next year.
That was
we
real
have
helpful,
We
Jason.
have the similar free breakfast, an alternative option is what we call it.
So if I forget my lunch money,
Yes,
even though
you
I'm...
won't be turned away.
Okay.
Nobody gets turned away if they will get a hot lunch. There's a little bit of a grace period if they don't have it, but after that, they would get it's like a cold sack lunch but it has like a sandwich and a piece of fruit and milk, so they still get that at lunchtime.
So for our, if we were to move this forward and breakfast became $2 and someone couldn't afford it, a child comes, they're going to get something?
Yes.
Okay. So, scratch that from the record. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Those are all my questions.
great questions, great discussions. Thank you, Mr. Harmon.
Great, thank you.
All right, call to the public, I don't have any cards. Okay. Consent agenda, do I have any motions?
Motion to approve is written.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Patty Cotray,
Aye. All right, and we'll move on to my favorite action item, HR schedule. Mr. Beckett.
Thank you, President Gutierrez. I appreciate that. Member Owens and Member Rothschild, Dr. Loebman, you have the personnel schedule in front of you this evening. I'd be happy to take any questions you have regarding it.
Board members, any questions?
Not at this time for me.
Mr. Beckett, I have two questions.
Thank you.
One is the teacher contracts that have not been yet returned, will they appear on the next HR agenda as contracts not returned? So we can fill those positions?
That's the plan at this point in time. Yes, we have communication going out to we have 2 outstanding contracts at this point in time. So once
Just
we get,
two?
Just 2. And once we get finalization of whether they're returning or not, yes, we would then have them on the agenda.
And then could we get a number of exactly how many teaching positions are open currently for next year?
31
31?
at this point in time.
And that's across K-12?
That's all of our
Okay,
certified vacancies.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Beckett, welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Appreciate it.
I just want to say thank you to Dr. Lopeman, too. She sent out the information regarding the contracts, as we asked at the last meeting, so thank you for that. I'm assuming that your team helped supply that, so thank you to your team as well.
You're welcome.
So we've got 31 open positions as of right now. Do you have a sense of kind of how that compares to last year, previous years?
Thank you, Member Owens. A great question. 3 months to go. We're feeling confident. We have a lot of things happening right now. It's a busy time for our principals too, with testing going on. But we've done a lot of screening. I had a few numbers here. We've screened 140 teachers, not only screened them, but interviewed them and also presented them to staff. So it's a good number for us. We've had 3,172 applications come to the district since January 1st. Some of those were multiple applications from a single person for different positions. But each one of those are being touched as well by our staff, looking at those and then processing those and seeing whether they will move through the process of being screened for a potential interview with us. So yeah, it's just a very, very busy, hectic time. I'm optimistic.
Gotcha. Sounds good. The other question that I've got is line number 52. That is listed as an assistant principal. Is that also AD? Site AD?
That is correct.
Okay.
And I've got a segue in just a little bit.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because it didn't specifically call it out.
Certainly, yes.
Mr. Member Owens sparked a question with one of his questions. So out of all of these applications, which is marvelous, by the way, are we looking at, are they foreign national teachers or are these teachers that are currently, because I know that we're losing quite a few of those foreign national teachers because of visa.
That's right, yes. Yes, of course, yes. We have we always get strong applications from our foreign national teachers. So we do have some additional foreign nationals we'll be adding for next year, but we have lost about over 24, I think, is where we're at this point in time. We're losing primarily through the J1 process. They've reached the end of their visa contracts, and so they're obligated to return to their home country for 2 years. And then they can seek again, another J1 opportunity with us.
Okay. Do I have any more questions or any motions?
Motion to approve is written.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shantae Rothschild.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. Thank you. And go-
President Coutray, I just want to take a time, and if we could please have Dr. Wendy Trevilian. If you would stand up, please. We want to introduce you. Dr. Wendy will be starting at Desert Sunrise High School. She'll be doing the AP position there, as well as overseeing athletic programs at the high school there. So, welcome. Thank you.
Welcome. All right. Item 8B, discussion and possible approval, project management services for the Farrell Road Canal tiling project. Mr. Harmon.
Thank you, President Coutray, members of the board, Dr. Loman. The next three items are related to the tiling of the canal on Farrell Road. This first is for project management services with FMG, seeking your approval.
Board members, are there any discussion or questions for Mr. Harmon?
Just question on the scope of the of this contract. They're basically going to be the ones working with the contractor and the city, state, the federal government, and obviously us as well, right? Kind of being that middleman and doing all that coordination that needs to go on.
Yeah, they bring a level of expertise that we don't have internally and work with all of those key players from the architect. In this case, it'll be a civil engineer with Lloyd Engineering, the contractor, DBA, and the city, and the feds. There's a lot of layers there, but they really keep us on target budget-wise and timeline-wise, and really help try to eliminate hurdles before they exist.
Gotcha. If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shantae Rothschild.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. Discussion and possible approval of the award, the construction manager at risk contract for the Farrell Road Canal tiling project.
So this is in relation to the procurement that we did for construction manager at risk, and we are seeking approval for DBA Construction that'll actually do the work for that tiling. I believe I have a representative from DBA here, Jordan Hamula. Thank you for coming.
Board members, any questions?
Yeah, so the question I've got in here, I'm assuming that we have a GMP, or we will.
Yeah, this will lead to a GMP. We don't have that yet. The design has been done, but there'll be a GMP process.
Yep,
That is correct.
gotcha, okay. If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shantae Rothschild.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. And discussion and possible approval of engineering services for the Farrell Road Canal tiling project.
So Lloyd Engineering's been really working on this since we started Desert Sunrise, and has completed the design a long time ago and submitted it to the USBR for approval. So, but we want to keep them on the project.
Maybe I should have asked this from the beginning, but it still works here. This just came to my mind. Can you just walk everyone through what this project is?
Oh, great. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know this goes back to my first term on the board when we initially started talking about Sunrise coming out of the ground.
Yeah, so Sunrise is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It is right along Murphy Road, which is a paved road, and it's in between Murphy and Hartman Road, and along Farrell. Farrell is unpaved from Hartman to Murphy. It's a 1 mile stretch, and it has a canal, an MSIDD canal, which is actually a federal Bureau of Reclamation owned canal. We have to, what they call tiling. It's essentially just putting a pipe underground. Then after this project's done, there'll be a transfer of the property from the feds to the city of Maricopa, and then we'll have the next project to actually pave that mile stretch as well. And this is in relation to the agreement that we had with the city and with the developer back when we built the school. So instead of just building the half-street improvement that's required by our property, we agreed to do the entire stretch, and we'll receive some reimbursements from the developer once that's completed. And then we will no longer have to drive, all the way up or down to get to Desert Sunrise.
I am so looking forward to that moment.
So is our transportation department.
Yeah, I agree too.
But this is the first of 3 phases.
Phases, yeah.
I mean, this is just putting the canal underground. Then there's the arrangement of the land, and then we pave the road. But I'm chomping at the bit to get this thing going.
How long is this part of this project? What is the
I think
timeline on
DBA said
that?
they can have it done in a few weeks. No, I'm just kidding. No. We don't know yet. We will, we still are working through some permitting and we haven't had our kickoff yet, so we'll find out what the timeline is.
Approximate?
I couldn't give you one.
Okay.
But the pricing is set.
No,
It
we're
will
still
be.
working to a GMP. We've got, we tried to at least work up some estimates when we did our proposal, but we'll see what the GMP turns into. We've got a great team on our hands with DBA. They've done a lot of waterways and canals around the state, so we're excited to work with them.
Do we have the cost for the engineering being, we're talking specifically about the engineering services? Do we have the cost for the engineering services?
So the engineering services and the project management services are based on a contract, a cooperative contract rate. So once the GMP is determined, those will be a percentage based on the GMP. So they're estimates now, but they'll reset once the GMP is finalized.
Gotcha, okay. All right. If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. All right, discussion possible approval of project manager service for Desert Sunrise High School, Phase 3. Gosh, I love that.
So these next 3 items are related to Desert Sunrise High School Phase 3. Again, with FMG as project manager, and then you'll see Chase Building Team as the contractor, and Grace, formerly Orcutt Winslow, as the architect. Happy again to answer any questions you may have.
All right, so I'm going to ask this question at the beginning this time. Can you walk us through Phase 3, please? And what the overall picture of this looks like?
When we completed the initial phase, we master planned the whole campus. So the hope is that we get as much of that master plan as we can afford with the state grant and the bond funds that we have, to include things like an additional classroom building, additional competition gym with some classroom space in that portion, some athletic spaces as well. But we'll see how much we can get.
And we won't be able to realize that until we put all of these 3 components in place, correct?
Yeah, with the grant, we have to at least build 125,000 square feet of instructional space. And we'll work through the minimum standards for that and see what value Chase can bring to the project. But we have representatives of Chase in the room as well, Tim and Rhett.
Perfect. If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. Discussion and possible approval to award the construction management at risk contract for Desert Sunrise Phase 3.
Obviously, Chase has knocked it out of the park on several projects for us, so if there's no discussion, I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. Discussion and possible approval of the architectural services, Grace Design for Desert Sunrise Phase 3.
Is there engineering as part of this?
There's always some civil involved, but Grace will bring a civil engineer, most likely Lloyd Engineering, underneath their services if they need civil work.
How about like all the electrical engineering and all the mechanical, structural, all that stuff? Does all that fall under the architectural services component?
Yeah, so they'll be our principal architect. It's not uncommon for them to bring on subcontractors for any services that they might not be able to handle in-house. They might not self-perform every component, but they will bring them under and guide them through the scope.
Gotcha. So the engineering is part of this.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Patty Cotray,
Aye. And our last item, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
I moved that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned at 7:26. Thank you, folks.
Nice job. Kept it moving.